dash down, you pick your man, you move. You dash down, you pick your man, you move. No waiting of armor, nothing. We haven't got it, but we are going to get this war to the end. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Now, make sure that each time you are moving, that you are moving in the right direction. Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Holy, holy.
The Biafrans have no artillery to speak of. Their only answer to Nigerian firepower is a homemade rocket. About a mile north of Ikedipenny, we've come under fire from further east. The enemy is still a long way away, although the rifle fire, light machine gun fire sounds extremely close overhead. Our troops are now pushing forward into Ikedipenny itself, clearing the enemy as they go. Despite the need to conserve every round, the Biafran troops fire blindly at enemy positions they can scarcely see. Minutes later, and the Biafrans are having trouble getting their troops to advance from their forward positions. Most of their bullets are going into the ground ahead.
Come on, get up, get up!
The front line moves forward slowly. Too many NCOs seem to want to lead their men from behind, and the Biafrans have little idea of using what cover there is.
Can you have a snap? Come on, come on!
On the road now, the troops have reached their first objective. Now, if all goes well, they'll press on into Ikedipenny, round the side of it, and hope to cut the next road down, the road to Uyo.
This temporary bridge across the river Oluwa was built by men of the 10th Battalion, when at the end of 6 days waiting, they were informed from military headquarters in Lagos that no engineers were available to do the job for them. It took only 5 hours to build.
All of you just standing looking.
The reinforcements were being assembled at a village called Manua, the battalion's headquarters some 13 miles from the bridge.
I want to demand no. How many people? I'm beginning to go this side and go this side. This zigzag, I know one time. I want to know the people, how everybody will stay 1 hour. Eh?
We are now totally 40 according to the OC. So we're supposed to be 40 instead of 5. I mean 30 before.
They bring 9 men plus the staff sergeant. You told man where you are.
Yes, sir. You press silly idiot.
As the convoy assembled and prepared to cross the flimsy do-it-yourself bridge, nobody but me, it seemed, had any doubts that the bridge would take the strain about to be put upon it. But as he briefed the drivers, Major Ibrahim Tawul, the commander of 10th Battalion, was leaving nothing to chance.
No unnecessary acceleration at all. All right?
Yes, sir.
So you must be very, very careful. I want only the experienced drivers to drive these vehicles across there.
10th Battalion, the first to cross, was the spearhead of the push along the Benin axis to Ore. Night was falling fast as 10 Battalion moved off. I went later with 11 and 12 battalions. Ahead of the convoy, 15 miles to Ore, the first objective, a grueling jungle road. Every mile a potential ambush point. There would be an ambush, everybody knew that. By first light the next morning, the casualties were being counted.
What are you bunching here for? Go and stay in your formation.
We were ambushed at about 4 o'clock, a heavy machine gun ambush. For a while it seemed that the 3 battalions spread out along this jungle road here were pinning the machine guns down. And then at about 6 o'clock, the 12th Battalion panicked. Most of them are recruits that have come in on a crash training program. We dived into the ditch not knowing what was going on. Fire was coming from every direction. The noise, well, it was such a noise. I've never heard the sound of gunfire like it before. And there were officers running up and down the trenches shouting, "The next one who panics will get shot." And they were screaming to their soldiers to stop. Well, eventually they did stop. But the colonel who's leading the 3 battalions along this axis was very, very cross and very angry with a lot of his own men this morning.
What happened to you? You know that you did not fire over there again. You continued firing. Well, get into the ambulance. Yes, I was with you there over there, sir. We was probably shot by one of our chaps too. Stupid attack. Now that you've used all, when you go there and face the enemy, I'll see what they're going to do. And there's no running back because I'll be right behind you and I'll shoot you if I see you coming back.
When Colonel Ali's anger abated, I talked to him. Colonel Ali, you clearly have problems with some of your men who've not had very long in training. Some of them did rather panic just now. How much of a problem is this for you?
It is a problem initially, but all that it requires is for them to get used to the battle fright. This is their first time in action, and normally you get a bit of battle fright until you master this, and it doesn't bother you anymore.
What sort of percentage of your force consists of seasoned soldiers?
On this front, I would say 50-50.
On Colonel Ali's instructions, we left the convoy and returned to the bridge. But the bridge was broken. The last lorry to cross it the night before had toppled over.
Who are currently engaged in Biafra's most successful offensive of the war. How the Biafran army succeeds, armed as it is with an odd-lot collection of weapons, is a puzzle. Some at the front carry communist-made AK-47s, like those used by the Viet Cong. Some only World War I bolt-action antiques. Others modern British semi-automatics. And their pride and heaviest weapon, a .30 caliber machine gun just captured from the Nigerians. Much, in fact, of what the Biafrans are now using against the Nigerians, they have taken from them. One military man up here told me, not totally as a joke, that Biafra now looks upon the Nigerian army as its quartermaster general. And if the Nigerian army runs on beer and bullets, the Biafran army lacks both, with ammunition constantly in critically short supply. These troops had advanced 6 miles in less than a week. Then, practically out of ammunition, were forced to stop on the road to Port Harcourt until more supplies trickled down to them. One of this army's other problems is staying large enough to continue the fight against Nigerians. When Biafra seceded in 1967, it had fewer than 1,000 men under arms, and those mostly officers and clerks. Now it has been built up to between 45 and 60,000. The exact number, a military secret. Volunteers made the original army build-up easy. Now conscription of virtually all able-bodied young men is underway. And in a former school compound, we found recruits drilling, marching in the mud to the improbable tune of Margie. These new soldiers are also taught the rudiments of jungle warfare and ambush, to be used against an enemy which holds most of Biafra's major cities, several vital road links, but not too much of the countryside. The training is basic, but effective.
We're going to stop us right by the shoulder here, and we want to defend it. Go.
And here I met a young trooper, a very young trooper in the Biafran army. How old are you?
I'm 10 years.
10 years old.
Yes.
Do you know why Biafra is fighting?
Biafra is fighting for survival, sir.
Is it going to win?
Yes, sir.
His spirit, and that of this tattered army, driven by fear of genocide which may or may not lie ahead if they lose, plus what must be massive ineptitude on the part of the Nigerian army, is the most probable reason that this war of unequals now has gone into its 3rd year.
Nigeria before the war had an army of just 6,000, and they were professionals, their officers trained by the British. They served with distinction as part of the UN force in the Congo. But then Biafra declared its secession, and all of the Igbo officers and men, some of the best, left to become the nucleus of Biafra's army.